The YAPCreator Series is presented by OpusClip, the ultimate AI-powered video tool for content creators. Their latest model, Clip Anything, revolutionizes video editing by tagging every element in your footage: people, objects, actions, even emotions. Do you want to find the funniest moments in your clips, the most viral clips, the most actionable, or even the exact part where you take a helicopter ride? Just prompt Clip Anything to find it for you, and it handles the rest. Whether you're working with raw footage or polished content, OpusClip delivers professional, shareable results in minutes. If you want to level up your video content creation, you've got to try OpusClip. We use OpusClip every single day at Yap Media to create my awesome videos. And the best part is, it's totally free to get started. Visit opus.pro/clipanything to try OpusClip today for free. That's opus.pro/clipanything to try OpusClip today. Hey, Young and Profiters, you're listening to episode 2 of the YAPCreator Series. In this series, we'll dive deep into the art and science of content creation. We'll unpack the secrets of capturing attention and the psychology that fuels audience connection. Today, we're going to talk about 2 foundational pillars for success in content creation: trust and authenticity. Let me tell you, these 2 elements can make or break your connection with your audience. Trust is the foundation of any strong brand, and authenticity is the glue that holds it all together, the force that keeps people coming back for more. In today's episode, we're diving deep into why trust is essential to building a loyal community. I'll also share insights on how to maintain authenticity in everything you create, as well as some practical ways that you can nurture both trust and authenticity over time. You'll get a ton of actionable advice, and I'll even sprinkle in some great tips from previous Yap guests to bring these concepts to life. Building trust online is crucial, especially when you don't interact with your audience face-to-face. In a digital world, trust transforms casual followers into loyal supporters and eventually customers. But how do you establish that trust from behind a screen? The first step is to get personal. That means being open about meaningful details from your life. Sharing who you are behind the polished brand makes you feel relatable, approachable, and real. Rory Vaden, a brand building expert, explained to me why this personal connection is so essential for building trust, and why it even made him change his mind about people on social media who like to post about their every meal.
In order to answer that question, you'll see this recurring theme in what we do. To answer the question, how do you best build trust online? We would say, how do you best build trust offline? If you made a list of the top 10 people you trust in your life, like would trust with your life or with your kids, right? Like I've got 2 toddlers. So like if you go, who would you trust? There's a good chance that the people on that list, like you would trust with your banking information or that kind of stuff, there's a good chance you know those people intimately. You know where they eat. You know where they live. You know about their families. You know where they went to college. You know where they grew up. You know about their siblings. You know maybe some of their fears. You know some of their mistakes. Like you know those people intimately. And when I first got on social media, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so stupid. Why is everyone posting pictures of what they ate? And then I realized, because we trust people that we know intimate details about their life. Now, that doesn't mean you have to post pictures of your kids, right? There's a lot of reasons why not to and a lot of fears why not to. AJ and I happen to do it a lot. AJ is my wife, and she's also my co-founder and the CEO of Brand Builders Group. We were business partners in our former company that we sold, and then we started Brand Builders Group, just the 2 of us. And she's the CEO, and I'm the CMO. So, and we're married, right? So we got 2 kids. So we happen to share those things occasionally. So we trust people that we know details about their life, right? If I see someone walking down the alley, I've never seen them before. I don't know anything about the person. My spidey senses go up. I'm in an alley with a stranger, and that's how it is, right? Who's going to buy from a stranger? Nobody. They got to know something about you. Who else do we trust in real life? Well, we tend to trust people who we learn from. We trust pastors. We trust lawyers. We trust accountants. We trust doctors. We trust experts. We trust teachers. We trust mentors. We trust counselors. We trust people who teach us things. Who else do we trust in real life? We tend to trust people who encourage us in our darkest moments. The people who were there when you had your heartbreak, when you didn't get into that school, or you didn't get that job, or the relationship fell apart, or you lost money on that deal. The people who were there to encourage us in that moment, those are the people we trust, because it's like, we've been through the fire, right? I know you. You got my back. So when you roll that forward to online, we have 3 simple strategies that we teach. We call them the 3 E's for content marketing. First of all, educate, encourage, and entertain. Educate, encourage, and entertain. And we typically say, your feed should be more of what you do, and it should educate, encourage, or entertain, because strangers don't care about your cat. The only people who care about your cat typically are going to be, once they're intrigued by you and they want to kind of really vet you out, that's where they go, who are you really, right?
Rory talked about how trust comes from familiarity. People trust those that they feel that they know, whether that's through personal stories, inspiration, or education. His 3 E's framework, educate, encourage, and entertain, is a simple yet powerful way to build genuine relationships online. But how can we take this trust building to the next level? Well, some of you are looking at it right now, and that's video. I learned about the trust-building power of video from Cannell, an expert on video marketing and the founder of Think Media, which has over 3 million YouTube subscribers. Sean explained why video gives your audience an instant sense of connection and trust, something that other content types struggle to match.
We do business with people we know, like, and trust, and video is the best trust accelerator. If people read something you've written, they can get to know you a little bit. If they hear your voice on audio, that's great. They can get to know you better. But if they see you, they can get to know you best. And so it's kind of like old school small town rules. We meet someone face to face for coffee. You want to connect with your real estate agent in person, look them in the eye, firm handshake. What are you wearing? All those details speak something about you. Well, in video, we are able to now communicate those details. And, Google released a report years ago called, I believe, the 7-11-4 rule, which was people need to consume 7 hours of your content over 11 different touch points on 4 different platforms. And depending on your ticket price of your offer, for there to be trust for them to become a lead, or even more so, a customer. And so the power of video is you're giving people a chance to get to know you pre-sales conversation, and get to know your expertise, get to know some of your values and your principles. In fact, this would kind of be like a checklist of the types of buckets of content that you'd want to have. It's why that, yes, you want to establish your authority. So you have videos that, oh, this person knows what they're talking about. You establish something that'll help them. Wow, this person got me results in advance. So their content helped me solve a micro problem compared to the big problem they solve. Dang, I can see they're good for it. They know what they're talking about, and they've already helped me for free. But one of the missing pieces is they also maybe hear bits and pieces of your story. This whole idea of we do business with people with shared beliefs, and we do business with people with similar values. And sometimes we just go so logical and so practical, like, okay, cool, this person can help me with Facebook ads. This person can help me with my taxes. But when you start weaving in bits and pieces of your story, they start saying, oh, wow, this person has family values. Oh, wow, this person is of a particular faith. Wow, this person is even maybe kind of leans this way or that way in their ideology. You don't have to put like politics and religion in your content necessarily. However, a lot of times those will polarize people to you as well as away from you, but the people polarized to you will be even better customers and will resonate with you even deeper. So over 7 hours of content consumed, 11 different touch points could include a YouTube video, seeing you on Instagram, connecting you within the DMs, landing on your website and watching an explainer video. And 4 platforms also speaks to the power of being on LinkedIn, seeing a deeper dive training, listening to you on an audio podcast. This is the whole vision of content marketing, is then all of this trust has been built and this familiarity has been built. And so for a lot of listeners, they might have a sales team or somebody eventually jumps on a sales call. You're not dealing with, if you will, cold traffic or even just slightly warm traffic at that point. You're actually maybe dealing with somebody who's like, listen, I already really know, like, and trust you. I've seen this content. I'm just curious the details of your offer. And so conversions increase, impact increases, sales increases, and you grow your brand wider and wider in the process.
As Sean highlights, video gives your audience a chance to know you behind written or audio content. With repeated exposure across platforms, your audience builds familiarity and confidence in your brand, setting the stage for deeper engagement. We talked about trust. Now let's move on to authenticity. One of the best ways to appear authentic is to embrace what makes you unique. By incorporating your own interests and quirks, you're bringing more than just a polished image to your brand. You're showing the real person behind it. Kat Norton, aka Miss Excel, is a perfect example of how authenticity and unique interests can make content stand out. With over 1.1 million followers on Instagram and 900K followers on TikTok, Kat has mastered the art of capturing attention. She told me how combining her distinctive passions for dancing and Microsoft Excel created an unexpected level of engagement from her audience.
So I was really just learning by the seat of my pants. Like I would read the comments people had, and I'm like, okay, what do they like? What do they not like? But also for me, it really came down to authenticity. So I love dancing, I love helping people, and I love Excel. So I was like, what would happen if I put all of that inside of one video, right? And so for me, it was just an authentic expression. It was cool. It was something I had never seen anybody do before in terms of the Excel space especially, but also in a lot of learning spaces, integrating dance, which is more native to the TikTok app, but then layering in the educational piece. And that polarity is what really helped the videos take off, because if I just posted Excel tip videos, people would have been like, cool, like I don't use Excel, and moved on. But so many people were commenting because they were like, what the heck is this girl doing? She is dancing. She's doing, Tuesday slide to the left and right function. What is going on here? And that's really what helped it go through the algorithm.
And I want to laser in on something you said, and we'll go deeper on it later. But you talked about polarity. So the fact that you combined two things that are really uncommon together, dance and Excel, it gets people talking. It gets people like complaining. Why are you dancing, talking about Excel? Or some people will love it. And it gets people talking, which really drives everything up in the algorithm. Do you have anything else to say about polarity and how important it is for social media?
I think it's a combination of polarity, because obviously you want like a healthy polarity, right? You don't just want to like say things to create polarity. It needs to be something that's actually authentic to you. So I think it's important to make sure that your mental health is in a great spot to be able to receive what comes with polarity, right? Because a lot of times when a video goes viral, negative comments are, the majority of the ones in there, because it's being shown to people, it's being shared, and that's just the nature of the planet, right? We live on a polarity planet. There's always positive and negative forces. So it comes to, making sure that your nervous system is able to hold the energy of what is going to come through from creating the polarity in that content. So for me, that was my biggest work. I was constantly working on myself, because easily some people get some negative comments and it'll take them out. They'll be like, I don't want to post anymore. People think this, or you start having certain limiting beliefs that then are adjusting the actions you'll take. So instead of following your intuition, you're following the actions that'll please the most people, or things like that. So it's really important to keep coming back to yourself, come back to that intuition, and know that, the polarity is going to trigger some people, and that's okay. That was a big lesson for me as a former people pleaser. I had to let that go.
As Kat Norton points out here, combining contrasting elements in a genuine way, what she calls polarity, can drive engagement and deepen connections. It's a reminder that showing up authentically may involve quirks or unique passions, even if they seem unconventional. When people see those real, unfiltered sides of you, they're drawn into the person behind the brand, not just the content. Okay, speaking of drawing audiences today crave authenticity. They want to connect with somebody who feels real and relatable, not just some polished, perfect version of you. So don't shy away from sharing the ups and the downs. True engagement comes when you share your failures, your setbacks, your lessons still in progress. These raw, unpolished moments build authenticity and foster deeper connections with your followers, making them feel like they're part of your growth story. At Yap, we blend polished visuals with everyday moments, like mixing a professionally shot photo one day with a quick selfie that I took myself the next day. And tools like OpusClip make it really easy for us to create these authentic moments. So for example, OpusClip can take B-roll of your day-to-day activities, whether that's cooking, taking meetings, or just working on your desk, and then it can turn it into a day-in-the-life montage. These are real behind-the-scenes glimpses of your life that help your audience feel like they're truly getting to know you. So we've talked about sharing personal details, the power of video, and not being afraid to be our unique and authentic selves, even if that means leaning into being imperfect and unpolished. Another aspect of building trust with your audience and establishing authenticity is consistency. And by consistency, I'm not really talking about posting frequently, which is important, but I'm talking about aligning with your brand voice and visual identity across every piece of content. This alignment helps you reinforce your brand message, making it recognizable and trustworthy. This starts with visual identity. Elements like colors, fonts, and logos can help you create a cohesive and instantly recognizable look. For example, by choosing a color palette that aligns with your brand's values and personality, you can differentiate yourself and promote instant recognition with your followers. And when it comes to branding, less is more. If you stick with 2 to 3 colors max and 2 fonts max, the more clear and the more memorable you'll be. And I don't think anybody I've ever interviewed is more memorable than the marketing and paid ads king, Rudy Mawer. See if you can tell why.
My whole office is red, so we grew a 12,000 square foot office in Tampa, 50 staff. Everyone had to wear red. They got sent home if they didn't come in uniform, which was red. The whole office was red. The Miami offices are red. The brand's all red. The cars are red. And people even ask me when I'm on stage, yes, my underwear is red, if you're wondering. So all in on the red, all in.
What has that done for your brands? Like, how do you feel like it's impacted your brand?
I would love to say I came in with this exact plan. That wasn't the case, but I think one thing that made me successful is I'm really good at looking and learning and adapting and pivoting and then going all in. So I started my personal brand when COVID hit. I really wanted to grow my personal brand in the business marketing world. I'd already done it in the fitness space. I had 1 million followers there. I sold out events around the world, had a Facebook group, 60,000 members, and I saw the power of it. And so I was like, okay, well, now I'm moving into the business space. I'm going to do the same here. So I brought someone in to run my agency and went all in with my personal brand. And we did $25 million in 3 years, just selling courses, programs, coaching programs. So we grew it super fast. And I'm saying that because I think half of that is because I went all in on the personal brand and the social and the organic and stages and all of that sort of stuff. So it had a massive impact. I don't think I would have grown it to that amount so quickly without the brand. But during that time, we were just getting feedback. People were buying courses, programs. I had this like red backdrop, nothing as extreme as I've got now, but it was kind of similar to this if you're watching on video. And people loved it. They were buying 20K masterminds saying, I don't even know who this guy is. I just see his red ads everywhere and his branding's on point and he clearly knows what he's doing. Luckily, touch wood, in this industry, I do feel I know what I'm doing. It's not just a facade like half the industry we live in is.
Yep.
And then I was going to events when COVID lockdown ended, and all the friends that I had known for 5 years were like, dude, I love your branding now, like how you did this whole red thing. So it just got more and more and more, and I'm a very extreme person, which is sometimes great and sometimes terrible. So I just went all in. All my cars are red. I made all the offices red. I made all the staff wear red, and I played into it, and now it's very recognizable and I'm well known for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the key thing is that you're memorable, right? There's so many other influencers out there, and you do have the knowledge to back it up and the credentials to back it up, but the red just makes it memorable and makes you stand out, whereas other people might have to be seen 10 times to be remembered. Yeah. Maybe just once is all you need to be remembered. Rudy's story perfectly highlights the power of bold, consistent branding and making a lasting impression. His commitment to his signature red theme ensures his brand is instantly recognizable and memorable, cutting through the noise in a crowded space. In addition to visual identity, a strong brand voice is key for forming meaningful connections with your audience. Your brand should not only represent who you are, but also reflect and mirror the qualities and interests of your audience. And that's because people connect with those who are similar to them. People like people who are like themselves. A strong brand voice means consistent core messages. Choose a few messages that you repeat in different forms over and over again so that your audience remembers what you stand for and how you can transform and improve their lives. For example, I have core messages that I repeat over and over again. I remind my audience that you're never too young or too old to learn something new, and that if a gatekeeper tells you no, find another path. These are messages that resonate deeply with them because it reflects their own values of resilience, growth, and empowerment. By weaving in these messages into my content consistently, whether it be through stories, videos, or interviews, I help my audience know what to expect from me, and I reinforce the value proposition that I have for them. Someone else with a super consistent brand is Gary Vaynerchuk, aka Gary V. He told me that consistent branding requires more than just an effective message. It means knowing exactly who you're targeting with that message. So, speaking of niches, let's talk about creating audiences, because like you just talked about, we can talk about multiple topics. We don't have to be scared about that. We can be a dynamic person on social media, which means we're going to be speaking to multiple audiences.
That's right.
And you say we should develop cohorts with teeth. So what do you mean by that?
when I make content, sometimes I'm like, this piece of content that I'm going to make is going to hit 45 to 55-year-old first-time moms on the coasts. More New York, LA mentality than London, than Ohio, than Spain. So if I know that I'm doing that, don't you think that my adjectives and analogies tone intent right? So I want everyone who's listening to start thinking about cohorts. Gary, what do you mean? I just do sneaker content. Okay. Well, there's a lot of different niches within sneaker content. There's people of high net worth like myself who can afford bougie fucking, Nike Air Force One collaborations. There's other people who just like really like New Balance. Like there's the Reebok movement that I'm getting into as well. Like there's a lot going on. Crocs, if you want to expand it a little bit. Like, do you know who you're making this video for? Because everyone's going too vanilla. I make content for entrepreneurs. I'm like, okay, knock yourself out. You know what? Imagine how much better a piece of content is that you know that I'm going to make content for first generation Hispanic entrepreneurs that are 18 to 22 that came from immigrant parents that came from Mexico. I'm going to use analogies. I'm going to make reference to reggaeton. I'm going to talk about San Antonio culture.
Yeah. Like use their slang and however they talk.
100%. It's called relevance, everyone. If you're not relevant to someone, the second I make a long tail barstool joke, every barstool dude is like, fuck yeah. Like it's not super complicated. And so, because everyone gets so boring and vanilla right away. People say to me all the time, they're like, it's a really funny thing that I fuck people up with. Like, because I've been so consistent and growing and all this stuff. But then like sometimes they'll be like, but Gary, you say the same shit. I'm like, what do you want me to make up stuff I don't believe in? And then they go, like if they stick with me in that convo, they start to realize, I say the same macro 15 things, but the way I say it differently and how and where and what and to whom, that's the game.
Yeah.
So cohorts. These are consumer segmentations. In old television talk, we're trying to reach the 18 to 35-year-old demo. I like to think, and I know I'm looking at your crew a lot because I like doing that. Like, I like to think everyone in here is at a point in their lives where they realize an 18-year-old person and a 32-year-old person, the same person, are very different. So but that was television. You didn't have the internet.
Yeah.
Now that we have the internet, like everybody who's listening should be posting on Facebook. It's huge still. I'm getting 25, 30-year-old audience on Facebook. Now, they're on there like once in a blue moon compared to whatever, but like you should be relevant to Facebook audience. You should be relevant to TikTok audience. Snapchat's culture is slightly different than TikTok's. TikTok's it's all different rooms out there, and you want to be in every room.
There you go, folks. As Gary Vee puts it so well, you have to be in every room. To have an effective brand message today, you've got to be relevant. You need to know your audience and every cohort and segment within that audience. But where do you start? How do you identify the audiences that your brand will resonate with most? Well, sometimes it's as simple as focusing on one very important person. A powerful strategy for building a loyal community is creating content with a single person in mind, your ideal audience member. Business strategist Jasmine Starr calls this approach the foundation of building your kingdom online. By focusing on one person, you can transform your content from simple broadcasts into genuine personal connections. Here's Jasmine Starr explaining how focusing on one person and engaging authentically helps to build a thriving, loyal community around your brand.
If you say, Jasmine, I'm not getting direct messages, great. Go to accounts where you can follow stories, and if you have if you can vote on something, vote on something. And if you can respond to a story, respond to a story. We want to create a little tiny kingdom that is your business, and your kingdom is up on a hill. And then there's the villagers down below. How do people know that your kingdom is on the hill? You have to go down into the village, tell everybody, hey, there's a kingdom up there. And how you do that is by giving comments, liking photos, sending DMs so people become aware. So when we go back to niching down, this makes creating content so much easier. If you feel frustrated, if you feel overwhelmed, if you feel like creating content is taking so much time, let's narrow it down to not just a niche. I'm actually going to upload this. I'm going to say, create content for one person. Who is your dream customer? What do they want? What do they need? What solutions are they looking for? And when you just think about that one person and you create content and you speak to that one person, I know it's natural for you to think, well, if I create content for one person, well, then nobody else is going to buy. It's actually quite the opposite. Studies have shown, and business owners will tell you, that when you speak to the 34-year-old farmer who wears flannel and likes hard hats and listens to country music and drinks Budweiser, You create content for that person, it's very different than creating content for the 56-year-old Manhattan woman with 4 children who vacations in the Hamptons. When you create content for those 2 separate people, it will resonate differently. So the big question is, do you know who your dream customer is? Because when you build that out, your content becomes entirely different. And then you get to, looping back to Catherine's question, give engagement to who you think your dream customers are. That is how you scale.
As Jasmine shared, when you speak to one person, you make every follower feel like they're part of something personal and valuable. This approach allows you to move beyond surface level engagement and build deep connections that resonate on a community level. To add even more value, think about ways to create touch points with your audience that go beyond the usual interactions. In this last section, we talked about creating content that resonates with specific audiences. Now, let's take it all a step further, monetizing those relationships authentically. After all, we want to be young and profiting. But this isn't selling for the sake of selling. It's about listening to your audience, understanding their needs, and creating products or services that genuinely serve them. This is where the creator economy has totally changed the game. As Harley Finkelstein, the president of Shopify, told me, creator entrepreneurs have a unique advantage. They're not starting with a product and then searching for customers. Instead, they're building engaged audiences first and then developing products that align directly with their community's interests. Harley shared some great insights on how brands, both big and small, are leveraging personalization to connect with their audiences. Even major companies like Heinz Ketchup and Oreo are creating customized products and engaging more directly with their consumers. But this approach isn't just for big brands. Creators have a unique opportunity to build close, authentic relationships with their followers and offer products that reflect those connections. Here's Harley explaining how this shift towards creator-driven businesses is creating a new wave of entrepreneurship.
So actually, I think this idea of the creator economy, it's just the economy, except that there's this really cool advantage, which is that you have a built-in audience for your products. And maybe third of all, just sort of on the larger companies, a lot of companies either never sold direct to consumer. If you think about the CPGs, for example, Heinz Ketchup has a store on Shopify. Heinz Ketchup never sold direct to consumer. Heinz would sell through a grocery store. But there's some people that really care about, like, they're obsessed with ketchup. They love ketchup. And they want to buy direct from Heinz, called Heinz at Home. And for the first time ever, those big brands are actually having a direct relationship, whether it's through social media. And if you remember years ago, the Wendy's account was like, had a real personality. Mm-hmm. And a lot of these social media accounts of big brands actually have personalities to the extent that their fans, their consumers want to interact with them. And so you have a couple things happening with the big companies. One is the big companies are beginning to act a lot more entrepreneurial. They want to have a direct relation with the end consumer, but also they're experimenting. They're trying new things. A couple years ago, one of the cool things I thought that Oreo did, which is owned by Mondelez, is you can put, as a Christmas gift or holiday gift, you can personalize Oreos. So there's someone in your life that loves Oreos. You can make Harley's Oreos Happy Holiday, something like that. That is really interesting. So when so each of those things on their own are kind of interesting. When you combine those things, you see big companies acting very entrepreneurial. You see creators just on the creator side. Think about these artists, like these musicians, people like Drew House with Justin Bieber's brand that he built, or OVO, what Drake has built. You see these traditional, what would be a traditional musician, completely expand their scope of what they're actually building and selling and creating. When I used to go to a concert when I was a kid, I would go to the merch table. It was usually some sort of like shitty screen print on some basic t-shirts, like Fruit of the Loom t-shirt, and it said like, I don't know, the Rolling Stones on the back was a bunch of tour dates. Well, now you go to these concerts and you go to like a Drake concert and they're selling like Canada Goose OVO collab jackets. Or you go to, a Pharrell concert and you see some of the crazy stuff he's selling, that he's selling like cosmetics at the concert that he's created himself. So big companies are actually entrepreneurial. Artists are now actually expanding from just being artistic creators around music and art and film to actually creating product. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, you have just more people generally becoming entrepreneurs and more people saying, I make amazing chicken soup, and now I'm going to sell that chicken soup to the world. And I think when you combine all those things, you see people that traditionally had not entered entrepreneurship doing so, and they're scaling at a pace that just has never been seen before. And that's why, that's a long answer to a very short question, but that's why I think there's an entrepreneurial renaissance happening.
Like Harley said, brands that connect with their audience on a personal level can build something much more impactful than just a business transaction. By focusing on what their community truly values, creators can launch products that feel like a natural extension of their brand, fostering loyalty and long-term engagement. And that's a wrap for episode 2 of the YAPCreator Series presented by OpusClip. Today, we explored why trust and authenticity are critical to building a loyal audience and creating content that connects on a deeper level. Remember, audiences resonate most with the real you, not the polished, perfected facade of you. It's about embracing your quirks, sharing your journey, and letting your personality shine through. We also talked about how video is one of the most powerful tools for building trust, and that's where OpusClip can be a total game changer. OpusClip uses advanced AI to help you extract the most authentic and engaging moments from your content. Whether it's a heartfelt story, a quirky interaction, or an insightful tip, OpusClip makes it easy to transform those moments into shareable clips that can truly connect with your audience. Thanks for tuning in, and I can't wait to connect with you all again for episode 3, where we'll continue to unlock the secrets of content creation. Yap fam, are you tired of sifting through video just to find that perfect moment? My Yap Media production team and I used to spend countless hours trying to find the right highlights and clips from our growing video archives. But we don't have to waste time doing that anymore because now we use Clip Anything from OpusClip. It's a revolutionary AI model that transforms how you create and share video content. Clip Anything is so smart. It understands every frame of your video. It identifies objects, actions, even emotions, making it easier than ever to find what you're looking for. Whether you're a social media manager, vlogger, sports enthusiast, business owner, or podcaster like me, this tool is going to be super useful for you. Imagine being able to simply type in a prompt like, show me the most actionable highlights, or find me the most funny moments, and watch as Clip Anything instantly identifies and extracts those key clips for you. Whether it's compiling podcast video highlights or showcasing your travel adventures, Clip Anything personalizes your video content effortlessly. So join the future of video editing with Clip Anything from OpusClip. Sign up today to experience the power of AI-driven content creation. To get started, go to opus.pro/clipanything. If you want to get started for free, you can go to opus.pro/clipanything.